Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are on a Monday night, and we are ready to continue the great Halloween debate series. And tonight we are going to face off against a whole town alone, and we're going to see where it takes us. We're going to be debating Halloween Kills from 2021, of course. Kills with me, of course, and we have Rachel and our brother Steven on the panel. Guys, thank you so much for joining here tonight. This should be so much fun. Can't wait.
Yes, thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely, man. This has been really fun to, all these films and getting a chance to talk with a bunch of friends and also the folks in the audience. This has been absolute it's been a joy. It really has. So can't wait to get into this. Just to put this out there, if you guys have not subscribed to Rachel's channel or to Steven's channel, make sure that you guys do that. That would be awesome. Go and support them, subscribe to them as we do. We have had the links in the descriptions of these series, and I'm sure we'll have the links in the chat as well. But to say hello to the chat, a blanket hello. We see you guys. Thanks for being here. We've got Scott in the house. What's up, Scott? Good to have you here. I hope you're doing well. We got DJ in the house. What's up, DJ? All right. Russell's in the house. And look at this, man. We've got a channel membership coming in, and it's our good buddy Jack Hunter, coming back into the fold. And Steven, he is actually at the Action Junkie level, our 4th level, bro.
Very nice.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jack. We really appreciate that support. Helps us out a lot to do all the streams that we do every single week, all the time that it goes into doing that. We appreciate you, man. And tonight, for you guys that are members in the 2nd level and above, you can actually have your score count to our official score. So we'll be getting into that as well. Awesome stuff. Okay. We got Paula in the house. What's up, Paula? Good to see you. We got Andrew. We got Melissa. All right. Good to have you guys here. Hope you're doing well. And of course, we got the general in the chat. Val's here, ready to keep everyone in line and help us with moderating. Thank you so much, Val. We appreciate you so much. So much. And hey to RJ. All right. We got Zeducation in the house saying hello, everyone. Another great show on the way. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate that. We definitely want to have a chance to talk with you guys about this and have some fun. Yeah. RJ, the firefighter scene is outstanding. Yeah, it is pretty cool. No doubt. All right. We got Denisha. Hey, Denisha.
Hey, Denisha.
Good to see you. All right. We got Pierre in the house, one of our newest members, saying I'm in time. Nice. All right.
Awesome.
Good to have you here, man. Demented in the house. We got Million in the chat. What is up, man? Good to see you here too. Big Halloween fan. All right. We got Jessica in the house. What's up? Good to have you in here.
Sister.
That's your sister? All right.
Yep, that's my sister. She said she was going to drop by and give me a hard time in the chat, so just keep an eye on her.
Oh, okay. All right. Will do. Good to have you here. Gene in the house too. All right. Good to have you guys. Antonis in the house, JJ, and absolutely. And I was going to get that too. You got beat me to the punch. Definitely. Rest in peace to Charles Cyphers,
Yep.
who just as Sheriff Brackett was just such a great character in Halloween. And he was a great character actor as well, and collaborated with John Carpenter multiple times. So very sad to hear his passing. Very sad.
Yep.
Let's see. We got Catherine in the house. What's up, Catherine? With us again as always. Tiffany's in the house. All right. Very cool. And we got Board now coming in with a $2 super sticker. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. Hope you're doing well, man. Good old Keith, he's ready to rock and roll. I can tell. Oh man. As I mentioned before,
ready to give us a hard time.
well, that's what he has to do, man. That's what he has to do, right? We got the links from Val in the chat. Make sure you guys subscribe and support Stephen and Rachel tonight. That would be amazing. We'd appreciate that.
Thanks.
Andrew is saying 5s across the board tonight. Wow. Well,
Wow.
we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Okay. All right. And I'm going to catch up to you guys more in the chat. I see you guys are still coming in. To everyone, hello. If you haven't, please make sure you hit the like button. But to throw this out here, guys, we're going to be going through 10 categories for Halloween Kills. They're going to be random picks from the wheel. I think there's a possible 14 or 15 categories, and we're going to have the wheel pick 10 of them. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to score the categories by a score of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the top. And we can include 0.5s. So we could do a 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and so forth. Okay. Now, here's the other part that we're going to talk about. What are the categories? And we've had these same categories in this series. If you haven't seen our other streams, we're about halfway through the franchise now, if I'm not mistaken. But check those out. We got a playlist. But the categories that we're going to be talking about tonight is directing. We're going to score for directing, sound design, the characters, the cinematography, the atmosphere, the mythology, the kills, ironic enough, the final girl, or sometimes final girls, who knows. Michael Myers himself will be a category. Then as a talking point, we have the best scene in the film, our thoughts on the best scene. Also, another talking point would be the worst scene in the film, our thoughts on that. We also are going to be scoring possibly on the story, the mask, and the it factor. So those are the categories that we're going to be going on for you guys in the chat. Definitely let us know what the score you would give for these categories are. We can't get to everyone, but if you are a channel member at our Movie Fanatics, the Movie Fanatics, man, that's what we're talking about. Movie Fanatics, which Rachel is, and also Steven. So thank you guys so much for being part of the Movie Fanatics tier, which is our second tier of 5 possibles. But if you're in that tier or above, we will actually count your score to our official tally that will help us rank the Halloween franchise. So just to let you guys know, if you'd like to become a channel member, hit the join button next to the subscribe button. It really helps to support the channel as well if you're enjoying the content here, if it's bringing you value. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we officially start, though, we got a buddy in the chat starting us off right, Ronan himself, with a super chat, a $20 super chat, man. Thank you so much, bro. Saying much love and respect. Well, thank you so much, Ronan. We appreciate you, brother. And we hope that you're going to enjoy this conversation, and obviously let us know your thoughts on it as well as you have when you've been on the panel. But look, let's do a clip for Ronan. And listen, sometimes when you think that you're a tough guy, you find out when the rubber hits the road that you may not be. And it looks like this.
Help! We got officers down! Now listen!
So shout out to Trent.
Oh,
Oh, Trent.
I love it.
Trent.
Okay.
That's right, man. All right. Okay. So all right. So for all you guys jumping in, thank you for being here. We appreciate you, and we'll definitely try to catch up to
mhm.
as many people as we can. These guys are laughing. I know Russell. Russell's like, wow. Exactly. Oh, you gotta. Okay, guys, let's bring up our wheel. This is how we're gonna find out which categories we're going to be going through tonight, and it's basically our roadmap. That's basically what it is. So let's pull this up and see what we got. Okay, and there we are. So we have the wheel. Stephen, we are going to spin the wheel, and you will be the first to start us
Wow.
off on the talking point.
Nice. Okay.
All right, so let's
There
spin
you
it.
go.
Let's see which category it goes on. Ooh,
My wheel's dragging, so. Oh, there it is.
Having a
okay.
little. Oh, there we go.
There we are.
Story.
Story. Oh,
All right,
Story.
we're going on story. So, basically just covering the story of the film, what your thoughts are on it, and what's the score you want to give 1 to 5. What do you think, Stephen?
okay. So I love the story of this one, and it's basically just the story. The story is pretty simple. Michael just wants to go home. That's
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day. That's all it is. It's a straight line, as they said, straight arrow to his house. He wants to go home and go out, look out his sister's window. It's all he wants to do.
Yep.
But to get there, he's got to go through some folks, and I won't get. I, I man, I'll save the kills for when we get to the kills, but yeah, he has to go through some people to get there, and that he does. And
Mm.
I love the writing here. I mean, I have it. I've let it be known for a long time. This is my favorite of the 3 David Gordon Green films. This is my
Mm-hmm.
personal
Mm-hmm.
favorite, and I love how they wrote the story for Laurie and Hawkins, and we
Mm-hmm.
got to see their bond and connection. And those scenes in the hospital room, I think, are just some of my favorites. Seeing their dialogue and their connection, and also what we learn about things. And not only that, I have to talk about, because this is part of the story, is the Hawkins
Mm-hmm.
background.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, these 78 flashbacks in this movie I think they are immaculately done. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
perfection in my book. I would not change anything. Let me put it this way: when I saw this the first time, I literally believed they had dug up some unused footage from '78 and got consent from John Carpenter to use
Mm-hmm.
it. And
Right.
I really did. And then when Loomis shows up, I'm like, wait, that's Donald Pleasance. This is
Mm-hmm.
unused footage.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They are like, my mind was blown. And all of that story, the backstory with Hawkins, we understand kind of why Michael still is, where what could have been prevented. And anyway, the whole storyline I really enjoyed. A lot of sad things in this movie story. A lot of people died that I liked, but at the end of the day, I really enjoyed the story. It's going to be very high for me. I think 4.5 on the story.
Okay, we got 4.5. Awesome.
Hmm.
We
I
got
love
you
it.
down officially. Okay. Kill, how about you? What do you think?
You know, out of the 3 of this trilogy, I still am more partial to the first movie
Mm-hmm.
of the trilogy. Although I really love this one, and depending on how you look at it, some people may say it was too much Haddonfield. Some people may
Mm-hmm.
say it's not enough Haddonfield.
Mm-hmm.
The only con for me in the story is essentially it's Halloween 2, literally. Laurie's laid up in the hospital, which deservingly so. She's a warrior.
Mhm.
So, but I love me some Jamie Lee, especially portraying Laurie Strode. But as far as the story, I actually agree with a lot of what Craven was just saying. The flashback scenes were so great to flesh out, Sheriff Hawkins and kind of his outlook, to kind of see the flip side of what Dr. Loomis was seeing and so forth. That was just great to see, like some of the other kids like Lonnie when they were younger and so forth, and kind of what they went through. I loved
Mhm.
all and I felt that definitely helped flesh out the heart of this movie.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go 4.5 because the story for me was not my issue with this movie. I just want more Jamie Lee, but 4.5.
Okay. All right. Okay. Rachel, how about you?
I agree with a lot of what's been said, and I definitely agree with Kill when he said that this is basically just Halloween 2 again, because my sister and I have actually been rewatching the whole franchise from the beginning. So we actually just recently watched Halloween 2. And yeah, I was watching it and I'm like, yeah, this is giving me Halloween Kills vibes. Like, Laurie laid up in the hospital. You even see Haddonfield starting to come in a little bit. You have the whole the kill in Halloween 2 where they accidentally kill the Kramer kid, and you kind of see that escalating in this one with the evil dies tonight subplot. But I also agree with what Steven said in that this story is quite simple. Michael is trying to go home. He's trying to
Mhm.
return to his childhood house, and meanwhile, everyone else in the town is just dealing with the fallout of or what has already happened that night, and you get to see that. So I think that does work really well. I also actually do like that they bring in Haddonfield more. And I'll talk about this more if we get to talk about mythology, because I really
Mhm.
like what they built in this movie with the town and with everyone kind of responding to Michael as the boogeyman. I agree that I really like the Laurie and the sheriff subplot. I thought that was really sweet. Some of their scenes in the hospital are really fun and really dynamic.
Right.
But for me, I really don't like the B storyline off the town forming this mob scene. And I understand what they were trying to do, because you actually do see this in some of the other Halloween movies.
Right.
Like we just watched number 4 last night, and you can definitely see it in that, the town trying
Mhm.
to get all their own vigilante justice. But I feel like in this movie, they didn't. I think they went a little too extreme with that side of things. So
Mhm.
for me, that does bring the story down a little bit, because I just don't think that those two, the A storyline and the B subplot, melded that well together. And that whole mob scene is definitely a source of contention for me personally when I watch this film. I'm like Killian, I do prefer the 2018 version, the 2018 film when it comes to this particular trilogy. And when I
Mhm.
did first see Halloween Kills in the cinema, I remember I wasn't that impressed the first time I watched it, but the more I watch it, the more it grows on me. And now it's like my second favorite sequel.
Nice.
So
Okay.
I think the story I will go with 3.5 because for me it does get dragged down a bit by that B plot. So 3.5 for story.
Okay. All right. So we got a 3.5. Awesome. Awesome. Now, when I think about the story, I mean, you guys have made awesome points. I mean, I think that the thing about kills, and some people they're not big fans of the story, but again, we're talking about a slasher, and we're talking about Michael Myers, okay? And as a fan that's watched this for decades, I mean, ultimately, it's a lane that's very narrow. Michael is out, he's stalking, he kills. That's basically what we saw in 78. And this is almost like that on steroids. He's definitely doing a lot of killing. I do agree with Kill, a big part of Lori and her being sidelined, which had to make sense based upon what happened in 2018, but it is a tough thing to take because of course Laurie Strode is so integral to the story, which is why I'm glad that Allison had more of a presence, which it was almost like they were prepping her character in 2018 for what she was going to do in Kills. That being said, I really enjoy the story. I think there's a lot of great stuff that they tried to do, like you said, Rachel, with the whole mob mentality and things. We saw that shades of that in things like Halloween 4. This one obviously had a couple moments. I think they went on for a little too long, and really like were hammering it home a little too much. But I didn't have a huge issue with it because we got the most Michael Myers we've ever had, and it was done in a way that I thought was really great, and it was able to show James Jude Courtney his ability to be just so physically amazing as Michael. That being said, I'm going to give the story for Kills a 4. I'm going to give it a 4. Okay. All right. Real quick, too, in the chat, just to try to catch up to the chat. This is going to be a challenge in and of itself. But we got Jason, the nice one, in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. He's saying good evening. All right. Glad I was able to make it. We're glad you could make it, too. Very, very
Yeah.
cool. Awesome to have you here. T. Parker in the house. Hungry in the house. Earl. So many of you guys here. Thank you for hanging out. We appreciate that. Again, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. Also, we're going to make sure that for you guys and Steven, we also got another person, our good friend Elm Street's Last Brat, who
Yeah.
also upgraded to Movie Fanatic. Thank you so much, Elm Street. We appreciate
Yay.
that. If you want to give your scores in here, we'll officially take them. Again, if you are a channel member and you'd like to help us out a little bit more, if you upgrade to Movie Fanatic, we will actually have your scores as part of our official score here, which counts for Val because she's our sci-fi star level. She's saying the story is a 4.5. She likes the simplicity of it, just like the OG. All right, Val.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to officially put you down for 4.5 on our scorecard. And thank you so much, obviously, for all of your support.
Hey,
Okay.
Knight, before we move off of Val, I
Mhm.
wanted to mention one thing I forgot to say earlier about the story.
Mhm.
So excuse me, when I rewatch this, I always like to have it fresh, right, in my mind. And I stopped counting at like 6 or so, was it 7 scenes specifically featuring the radio tower.
Yes.
I mean, it's clearly they want you to see the radio tower very, very clearly in sight. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, sorry, Val. Like, don't you dare. I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think it's at least 6. It may even be 7. And then I
Yeah.
stopped counting. But I'm like, seriously, that radio tower was a red herring. It was a red herring.
Yeah.
Because you remember Knight, he talked about possibly ending with the Shamrock Factory.
Yes. Yep.
And I
Yep.
just wonder if he put those in there because he wasn't sure how they were going to end the trilogy, for sure.
Could be.
You know?
It could
Yeah.
be. Yeah. I was really curious about that too, man. No doubt at all.
Yeah.
And Million saying Kills is basically what Loomis told Brackett would happen if he alerted the town. The mob isn't the subplot, it's the main. Well, there you go. There you go. All right. Very, very cool. It's interesting because there's a lot of things going on in the film, and we saw it. We saw it.
Yep.
Let's see. Dwight's in the house too. What's up? Not a fan of 2018. Overrated. Okay. Wow. All right. All right. So let's go to our second category. Kill, we'll have you start off this category for us. Let's see where it lands on the wheel. All right. Let's spin this. Ooh. Ooh. All right. Okay. We got it. Final girl. All right. So
Well,
the final girl category. So, and of course, with Kills, it's really interesting because, you have Allison, but they also really had an amazing, to me, or I should say, a really cool arc with Karen. Kill, tell us your thoughts on that and what's the score that you want to give it?
well, and see, I was kind of going to ask that. Are we counting Karen?
Well, I think there's an argument that could be had. When we talked about Halloween 4, we really counted Jamie Lloyd and Rachel. So it was like
Yeah.
final girls. So I think it's really up to our interpretation. In my eyes, it kind of was a dual final girl.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for me, I kind of interpret it that we still have the final 3 women again surviving up until that final 0 moment.
Right.
And this really is Karen's movie. And I really, if you really look deeper into each of these 3 movies, you see the pattern. You see the
Mhm.
Lori movie, the Karen movie, and then the Andy, her movie.
Mhm.
And to go from that same character that she portrayed at the beginning of 2018, where it's just like, listen to your mom, believe your
Right.
mom, come on, we believe her, like, come on. And
Right.
then to see the woman she becomes later in that movie, and then the woman she becomes here, where
Mhm.
she is literally the only level-headed person other than the sheriff who's laid up. Because even when Lori dopes up, she just, stabs the adrenaline. She's like, "Go kill him, Tommy! Kill him!" And Karen is the only one that's like, "Whoa, everyone, let's cooler heads will prevail."
Right, right.
So I'm gonna say in my mind she did survive, because it was such a gut punch when she was taken from us.
Yeah.
So with that being said, in my made up movie where she did survive.
There you
As
go.
far as a final girl or final woman, she was the linchpin in this movie. So I want to give it a 4. I thought
Okay.
she was a great final woman. And no disrespect to Andy. Andy, she's a younger woman. She was kind of doing some silly things, just grabbing shotguns and just going off with the mob. Stay
You're
with
right.
your grandmother. Watch your grandmother. You know this guy is still out here. But
Yeah.
my hat is virtually off to Karen. Thank you for your
All
service.
right. There you go. Okay, so we got a 4 down for you. Rachel, what do you think about the final girl category?
I agree with what Kill said about Karen. She really levels up this movie. I was just thinking Kill's driving the Karen is Alive train right next to Craven's Stew train. So we're doing we're doing well here.
Stew.
Everyone's on conductor of their own train. But no, I think, like you said, when you see Karen in 2018, and she's still so traumatized from her childhood and still has all her issues with her
Mhm.
mother and obviously is a non-believer, to see her go from that to this. And I mean, I thought at the end of 2018, she gets that great moment, the where she's doing the fake out and then the gotcha. And you just think, oh, okay, no, this girl,
Yeah.
she has not forgotten her training. She has not forgotten the upbringing that her mother gave her. And then, yeah, in this
Mhm.
one, like Till said, she is the only level-headed person. She's the only one who's trying to think before she acts. She's
Right.
actually trying to assess the situation. I also really like that they give her a few like quiet moments where you see her mourning her husband. That scene where she's washing the blood of her hands and she sees her
Right.
wedding ring.
Yeah.
And then, of
Mhm.
course, that scene with her and Allison, and that line, "He'll always be with us," which I love the echo of
Right.
it later on when they're talking about Michael. He'll always be with us. It's a great callback. But I also
Mhm.
think Allison levels up pretty well in this movie. Like, I know that she does flail about a little bit, but she is very young and she has gone through quite a bit of trauma. And I actually think that, like, her going out with like Lonnie and, her boyfriend and wanting to face down Michael, and you can see that the steel has entered her spine. Like, she's saying, no, I will not go quietly. I will not be a victim. I want to go after this guy. Maybe not the
Mhm.
best idea, but you can definitely see the strode steel in her spine. She's inherited that
Yeah.
from her mother and her grandmother. Now, I know a lot of people complain about Laurie not being in this film as much, but I can understand why she's sidelined. I mean, when you look at the damage that she took at the end of the last film, and she's not exactly a spring chicken anymore. She's not a
Right.
17-year-old girl who can maybe just bounce back from this. And you do have that scene in the hospital where they're showing you all the damage that they're repairing to her body. So they're really showing you why she's sitting this out. So for me, Laurie not being, one of the main ones, I think that's okay. And I really, really liked what Killian said about how the first movie is Laurie's, the second movie is Karen's, and the third movie is Allison's. I actually never really thought about it that way. And that might give me a bit more appreciation for the third movie now. But I actually think all the strode women in this are fantastic. Like the scenes we do get with Laurie at the hospital, the quiet scene she has with the sheriff,
Mhm.
contemplating Michael and contemplating her past, I think were really good. I also really like that monologue she has at the end where she talks about how, it might have to be that she has to go out with Michael, that with every kill he gets stronger. So while Laurie's
Mhm.
not in the action, I think that she is contributing to the story really well. So I think I'll go with a 4 as well. I think the girls are really strong in this one. And I'll jump on Kill's train. Karen's not dead. Karen's alive. She went and hid out in a sewer by herself, and she's gonna come back.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I have to agree with a lot of what you guys said. I think that when you look at Karen, and I've said this many times, I was so amazed at how much on board I got with her character, and I
Mhm.
love Judy Greer. So it was, she was fantastic in 2018, but she was a character that you were meant to not like, right? Because you knew that Lori was onto something and needed to be listened to, and there needed to be more caution. And Karen was like, "Oh, the world is sunshine and rainbows," and all this type of stuff. But in Kills, you see her transform. And to your point, Rachel, you see her mourn the death of her husband. And how often does that happen in Halloween? Even in things like when Brackett saw Annie, it was a quick moment. It's like, bro, that's
Mhm.
your daughter. Now,
Hmm.
granted, in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, Brad Dourif had a fantastic scene. But what I'm saying is that this movie had those slower moments to be more realistic. Like you wouldn't just move on to the next moment after someone you love dies. And they took their time to show that and the effects of it. So I think that showing that complexity from Karen and also for Allison and obviously for Laurie Strode, I think they did a great job with the Final Girls. And I agree with you guys. I'm going to go a 4 for Final Girls. I think it was some really good stuff that they did there. I really do. Steven, how about you? What do you think about the Final Girl?
Yeah, I won't go too long because you guys have made some comments that I pretty much all agree with. Honestly, it's a 4 also for me. I think
Okay.
one thing I give credit for in this trilogy is whether you like whichever ones you like or don't like or varying degrees. The final girls like Lori, Allison, and Karen are really strong in my opinion, and
Mm-hmm.
their performances are strong, and I think that the development of the character arcs in these movies are really really good. Um, Now, we're not talking about ends, but I could say something opposite of that a little bit about Lori. But for this movie, I really enjoyed all of the final girls in the film, and I'm with you guys. In my heart, Karen is alive and well. I just hate that that's the only choice that I wish they had not done.
Mm.
The way that ended, it just didn't. You know, if the goal is for her to die, if that's like the intention, I
Mm-hmm.
would much rather have seen her die saving Allison,
Yeah.
or some make it where it really counts,
Mm-hmm.
and we would all look at her and be like, wow, look at what she did. Not
Mm-hmm.
just standing up there in the window, which makes no sense anyway. And then it's just a punk kill. It's a punk kill. I'm just,
Mm.
but just my opinion. That's the only part of the movie I wish we could change, just that little, that last little 5 minutes. But anyway, 4.0, they really do well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got a 4. Real quick, too, in the chat, we got Spoof in the house. Welcome to the chat. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying the conversation. Saying, I loved Halloween Kills. It is my favorite of the 3. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. And we have Val with her score. We're going to put in here. She says for the final girls, a 4. Karen and Allison took it up 10 notches, kicked some ass. Even Lori going off after the shape right after surgery, just badass. All right, so we will put that down officially in our total score, Val. And again, if you guys would like to also join the official score, just make sure you're at our Movie Fanatics level, which is our second tier channel membership. And we really appreciate the support. And Stephen, thank you for putting that in the chat too.
Hmm.
Just as a
Sure.
reminder, and if we could throw that in again at some point down the road, that would be great. Um, and holy moly, look at this. We got Ronan coming in. Wow.
Woohoo!
With, jeez, man, a $100 super chat. Oh my God.
That's so great.
Oh, man. Wow. Saying for Captain Rachel and the rest of this channel. Wow, man. Holy moly. Thank you so, bro. That is crazy. Yeah, he definitely deserves that, Steven. Like, man, thank you so much. Ronan, always just so supportive of this channel and this community and the people in it. I just want to say that as well. Very supportive of the people in it. which is what makes what I feel this a very special place, because you can be here and enjoy a conversation, talk with others, have fun, develop friendships, man. And Ronan, you're a big part of that. Always so positive and welcoming to everyone. Man, thank you so much for such a generous super chat. That definitely helps us out so much. I can't express, man,
Mhm.
I just can't express how much that really helps to keep things going and keep us floating above water, so to speak. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
gosh.
absolutely.
Oh man.
Sometimes you feel like you're
Uh,
snorkeling, like you have just a little tube sticking up in
yeah,
the
man.
air.
It's crazy. Right before this stream, I was helping a friend with a recording, which cut into my sleep because I work overnights, and that's an average day. Every day. So thanks, Ronan. This helps out a lot with everything. Let's do let's do some super chat clips too, man. Thank you so much, Ronan. Let's do this one. Is one of my favorites, man. Sometimes even your biggest icons have their down moments, and it might look like this.
Budweiser, you created a monster, and they call him Frankenstein. And the tavern down the
Wow.
street is the laboratory where he makes the transformation all the time.
There we go.
Dude. I bet you Sylvester Stallone tried to buy every copy of that on the planet and burn them. And I guarantee it.
He probably did. Oh my God. Ronan, man, thank you so much, man. Seriously. Can't thank you enough for that, man. Seriously. I know we'll be talking soon, but thank you so much. And Val, thank you as well for just giving some love to Ronan. It's really a big thing that helps out the channel. You too, Rachel. Thank you. It helps us do more. It really does. There's no doubt about that. And good Lord, man. He came in and gifted memberships too, man.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
10 memberships.
Oh my
Wow.
God, man.
Wow.
Ronan, seriously, man, there's
He's
no
awesome.
words.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's the kind of awesomeness night, honestly, in my opinion. The only thing that could top that awesomeness would be to seeing the dance from Creepshow. I mean, I mean that's like the only thing that compares to
Oh,
that
man.
awesomeness. I'm just saying.
Well, let's do that, man. For Ronan, so many members that are back with us in the chat, like T Parker and Doom, and you guys.
Mhm.
Please give Ronan a shout out. I mean, that again, that's one of the most generous things that someone can do.
Yeah.
Helping out others to get possibilities for memberships. And by the way, and I'm going to tease this. I'll talk about it more at some point soon. But um, there's a new perk that we have that is really awesome, and I'm so excited about it, Stephen, as well for you and
Yep.
your channel. We have a friend that's doing something so amazing that is going to be a perk for our members on a
Mhm.
monthly basis.
That's
And
right.
so for you guys that are members, you came in at the right time. And
That's true.
thank you to Ronan, man. Let's do another clip. This is one of my favorites. You guys know what it is when you got to dance, and some of the great ones look like this. Gotta love it.
Oh yeah. There he
There
is.
he is.
Even Mr. T's giving him a look.
Yeah.
I was born.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
That's a classic, man.
Ah.
Thank you so much, Ronan. Seriously, we appreciate you, man. Much love, much love. Wow,
That's
awesome stuff,
awesome.
man. Awesome stuff, man. And for you guys in the chat, thank you guys for all your support. Scott, yeah, that one, it doesn't get old, does it? It doesn't. I love it. Hey, man, we got Garrett in the house from Born to Be Right. What's up, brother? Saying, hey, everyone. Halloween Kills feels like a middle movie, but it is pretty fun. Night, are you hitting up Silver Screen in September? I'm going to tell you this, man. I want to so bad, but it's not looking like it's something that's going to be a doable thing. Like there's just so much going on, man. You know how life is. You got a lot of stuff you got to put your resources to. So,
Mhm.
but if you go, man, I'll be living vicariously through you. I will. All right. So look, man, real quick, we're gonna jump to our next category and keep this thing going. Rachel, we're gonna have you start off this category for us, this talking point. So let's see what the wheel lands on. Ooh, oh, wow. All right. We've got cinematography. Cinematography. So, Rachel, obviously, cinematography for the film. What do you think about it, and what's the score that you want to give it?
Think this film looks so good. So I actually make a lot of digital art, and a lot of the time I will judge a movie by how easily I can find shots to use for art. And this movie has so many amazing shots. So first of all, I just want to talk about the 70s footage because similarly to Steven, when I first saw this, I was like, is this unused footage? From like
Mm,
1978, does John Carpenter just have like a whole lot of like, unedited stuff just sitting in the vault? Because
right.
everything they managed to do with that, the camera work, the way it looked, the vintage feel that they brought back. I even liked how some of the camera work was even mimicking like the work from like 78, a lot of the shadows, a lot of the shots. So,
Yes.
so well done. Like I was so impressed with those scenes. And I thought they added so much to the movie and to the overall mythology. And I just thought they were shot so well. But outside of that, I actually think this movie is so dynamic to watch. So many
Hmm.
of Michael's fight scenes are so fantastic. Like, I know a lot of people have some complaints about like him being too action-like and too Jason-like, and I'll talk about that more when we get to like the kills. But I just think the way
Hmm.
they film some of these sequences, the fireman fight is amazing. I love the use
Mm.
of like shadows and the way we see a lot of the silhouettes. It's just so it just sounds weird because it's a horror film, but it's so beautifully filmed. And I think
Right.
that the fight at the end with Michael versus Haddonfield is also so well filmed. I love
Yeah.
so many of the shots of in that final sequence of Michael just taking out the town. That beautiful shot where he comes face to face with Tommy just as
Hmm.
he's about to like do the final blow, and you've got that great shot of like Tommy looking into those soulless eyes. I also think a lot of the other shots, surrounding the characters are really well. We've got a lot of really great like close-ups, a lot of great camera work when the characters are like talking, like the scenes at the hospital with Laurie and the sheriff. I really like that work. I love all the work inside the Myers house. Big John and Little John is so great, and their scenes are
Hmm.
so great. But also
Yeah.
when
Right.
Allison and her boyfriend go into the house, and you see Michael moving around in the shadows, just everything about this film feels really cinematic. It's like they stepped it up a little bit. Like Halloween 2018, I think, has that kind of clean, kind of minimal effect that they use for 78. But I feel like this one got really cinematic, and so
Hmm.
many of the shots are just so well done. So yeah, I actually think that the cinematography in this is beautiful. I'd actually give it a 5. I think this film is so dynamic, and I think that's one of the reasons that a lot of the people actually really do like this, despite the issues with some of the story and some of the characters. I think it's
Hmm.
such a great film to just visually watch. It's so dynamic and so much fun. So yeah, 5
All
for me
right.
for cinematography. I really enjoy this film, the look
Okay,
of it.
we got a 5. And also, just to remind people, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. It helps to support us. Val, if you could let us know where we're at on the likes, and just we can put reminders in there. I know we got a lot of people jumping in. That would really help us out a lot. Steven, what do you think about the cinematography, and what's the score you want to give it?
Oh man, this is. I mean, I everything Rachel was talking. I'm like, yep, yep. I just keep going. Uh, it is beautifully shot. I agree. I think they captured the 78, like I said earlier in the beginning, to the
Hmm.
point that I actually believed it was from 78.
Hmm.
And and I know we're not talking about the mask right now, but
Right.
I'm just going to say this: Christopher T. Nelson, I'm tipping my hat
Hmm.
uh, to his work. Hopefully, we'll talk about more of that later. But anyway, um, the shots, there's just great shots. I mean, I could go on and on about this. I mean, the camera work inside the helmets of the firefighters, you get that POV was so cool. And I'm like, man, if this was in 3D, that would probably be wild. But um, everything, the way it's shot, I can't think of a bad. Honestly, I just can't think of a scene that I thought was poorly shot. Even, the scenes that I wasn't crazy about, which was mostly just the hospital with the other escapee, but even that was shot really well,
Yeah.
and so I give this very high. I think 4.5, and I could easily do a 5, and you know what? 5. I'm doing it.
Okay. All right. So
I
we're
think
gonna
it's
go with a 5.
gorgeously filmed.
Okay. All right. We got you down for a 5. Kill. How about you?
I love the cinematography in this, and I'm a sucker for cinematography. And I'm just gonna break down one scene, and it's not a flashy scene. It's a very subtle scene with two elderly people getting murdered.
Mm,
That scene alone is a cinematic masterpiece. And the reason for it is it starts off with the older lady. She's flying a drone, she's talking to her husband. The way the camera goes in and out on her and the drone goes into the darkness. It focuses on that darkness and it looms there. It goes in a little bit. It's like, what is in the darkness?
Right.
Something throws the drone out. It's like, what's going on? Then, of course, as we know, all hell breaks loose. Towards the end of all that mayhem, the grandmother, the wife, she's dying. She's slowly bleeding out. The scene, and for me, you don't need to see it, but you do see it, but it's blurred.
Yeah.
Where
Yep.
he's testing the knives in the back
mhm.
of her husband, and the way the camera is just like a bystander. The camera is like a person that's witnessing this horror, and it's so subtle, but if you really know what you to look for or what you're seeing there, it's just very masterful what they did with that scene. And of course, it's other examples that are way more bombastic and beautiful from points of view of firefighters with things coming into their mask, but that scene in particular, I love that scene. And I hate that scene. It's a sad scene, but the way it's shot is you feel that scene and all the tricks that they put in there. This is a 5 for cinematography. It's
Yep.
immaculate in this movie, and I love it.
All right. We got a
Yeah,
5
man.
down. And real quick before I give my score too, just wanted to say, hey to our good friend Russell in the house with the channel member anniversary.
All right.
9 months, man, is so cool. Russell, thank you so much for being a part of the membership, also at the movie fanatic level. So we appreciate all that you do, man. The positivity. Saying he's never seen Kills and Ends and still hasn't seen it, man. You gotta
Oh,
see it.
Wow.
You gotta see it, man.
wow.
And
Yes.
he knows his movies, so you gotta see it, man. You really do. But thank you. We appreciate you, brother. For me, I'm gonna make this really quick. You guys said it. The cinematography is fantastic. David Gordon Green talked about how they would spend so long just setting up the shots for Michael, making sure the light hit the
Mhm.
mask the right way so it could look good. Because you have to shoot Michael a certain way, or it just doesn't look as good as it can. And we've seen that throughout the franchise. So they were so meticulous with things like that, the little details that added up. And I appreciated that so much. The 78 scene, the way that it's shot, the camera work, you would have thought that Dean Cundy himself was the cinematographer, okay? And he's a
Right.
legend. That's how good the cinematography is in this film. It looks beautiful. And Rachel made a really great point that a lot of folks can appreciate that, and it offsets any issues that you might have with some of the story beats or some of the things that may be dragged on a little too long. I have to agree with you guys. This has to be a 5. It's a beautiful looking movie.
Mhm.
I remember seeing it in the theater and I was just entranced from the opening all the way through. It just looks so good. And it makes you, and look, I'm as big a fan of this franchise as anyone. you know, and Kill, you know that. We've watched these movies since we were little boys. But I'm gonna tell you right now, we've seen films in this franchise, even ones that I love, that just don't have the attention to details like that. And
Yep.
and it's interesting. But for this film, yeah, we're gonna go with a 5. Okay. Real quick too in the chat, this is absolutely crazy, man. We got Ronan coming in again with another super chat, a $100 super chat.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow,
Wow.
man.
Man.
Bro, saying I did say I wanted to be known as a legend. Yeah. You
I'll
you
be
did, man.
now.
You did, man. Oh my God. That is absolutely amazing. Bro, thank you so much, man. Seriously. Um, wow. I just can't thank you enough, and just being so supportive. And a lot of times, and when I speak with Ronan, and even when he's been on the panel, he always talks about the community and other people. You know, he's very selfless, and
Mhm.
man, just an amazing thing to do. It really is.
Mhm.
So look, man, we got to do another clip. And look, this this is the thing, man. And Kill, you know how this goes. We have sometimes when you're not sure what's going to happen, and you just got to hold your breath and pray for the best, and it might look like this. Oh,
Heavy, heavy, heavy.
It's like, sorry,
oh
kid.
God.
I got a race
Oh,
to win.
hey, look, Rachel went like, oh, the kid's
Poor
okay.
Did that kid really think that was going to turn out good? You just, I got to be the star of the show. I got to be the center
Yep.
of attention. It's about me.
No.
And look, that's an allegory for life. Life comes at you fast.
It does. Hey,
Does.
the guy
right.
running, he's like, look, man, I'm on a mission. I can't put on the brakes. All I can do is hope that I can minimize damage to you, kid.
He gave that kid a tiger knee. Tiger. He's just like,
God, if you know, you know.
if you know, you know.
Oh my God. All right. So look, man,
Oh.
Ronan, seriously, man, much love to you, brother. Thank you so much for just being so awesome and really being so kind and generous. That's really the thing. It's amazing, seriously. And you guys in the chat definitely showing some love. He is a sweetheart, man. No doubt about that. Thank you, Val. We appreciate you saying that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we got 5s across the board. Val, I want to make sure I put your score in officially. She says cinematography is 5, and the opening scene when he appears from the house with the fire behind him, just wow. Then you have the flashback scene. Absolutely, man.
Mhm.
It's crazy what they were able to do with this film. But I have to agree with you, Val. So we're putting you down officially for a score of 5 for the cinematography. Okay, all right. We got Wayne in the house too. What's up, Wayne? Good to have
Hey,
you
Wayne.
here. And Val reminding people, definitely hit the like button if you could. It helps to support the channel and the stream. 50 people watching. We got 40 likes. Let's get that up, guys. Come on, please hit the like button. It helps us out. And Val, if you could just keep an eye on that and send out a reminder, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Okay, let's go to our next category and see what we get. We've got category number 4 we're looking for. I'm going to start off the talking point for this. Ooh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This is great, man. Okay, the it factor.
Hi.
The it factor is basically the entertainment value of the film. You know, how
Mhm.
much you had fun with it, how rewatchable it is, those types of things. So it's just kind of like an overall vibe. And interestingly enough, we haven't had this category chosen in a couple of the streams. So it's a really interesting category. I really enjoy this category. And speaking about it, for me, I find this film wildly entertaining. It's again, I feel like it's a chance to see the most of Michael we've ever seen as he's just going through a path of destruction. It's so well shot. James Jude
Mhm.
Courtney was just so good in the role. You know, his physicality as Michael. Um, only Nick Castle, is close to
Mhm.
that in my opinion. And I think James actually outdid Nick in a lot of ways. No disrespect to Nick or any other um, people that played Michael, but James was just so good. Even when he didn't have the mask on,
Mhm,
it's like he was still Michael Myers when he was going after Karen.
mhm.
It was so cool to see that because you didn't necessarily see his face; it was in shadow. But this is such a
Mhm.
fun film. It was a fun film to watch in the theaters. It's a fun film to watch at home and in watch parties. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I love I love this film, and I'm gonna give it a 5 for the it factor.
Yes.
It is so much fun. People can say what they want about the story. At the end of the day, this is a Halloween film, a slasher film. And I grew up in a time where I saw tons of slashers in the 80s. This is the type of film I could put on anytime, and that's what I'm grading it by. So Steven, how about you, man? What do you think?
Oh yeah. No, I 100% agree. Um, it is absolutely a 5 for me for the it factor. For everything you said, Knight. I mean, it's got the rewatchability is through the roof. It's to me, man, when you're talking about Michael Myers, I'm like, okay, this is Michael's movie. I know we
Mhm.
said it's Karen's movie, and I do agree in terms of that side of it. But I like to say this is Michael's movie, dude. This is
Mhm.
his movie to be
Yeah.
shine and
Mhm.
just, you know, bring out the big guns, if you will. And I love it. Everything we've already talked about: cinematography, the look, the story, the performances, and he is so brutal. He has the stalking mode, which we all love, where he's behind the
Mhm.
trees. He's stalking you down in the park where, you know, uh, Lindsay's hiding over there by the tree. That whole sequence. I mean, there's so many of them that I just love. And so it's a 5, not even a hesitation from me.
All right, man. All right, I
Yeah.
love it. You went with it. Um, Kill, how about you, man?
Okay. So I said it earlier. This is not my favorite of the trilogy. I still think 2018 is perfection.
Mhm.
What 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 would keep me from giving this a 5 is the mob.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And it's weird. Two things can be true. I said earlier that I think the story, I think I gave it a 4.5
Mhm.
because there is so much plot and story in here. But then in the same regard, sometimes that can slow it down for me. It can
Mhm.
kind of divert my focus. Okay, we're in the 1978 scenes. We're
Mhm.
watching Big John and Little John dance and smoke weed in their house. Like, what is the setup for that? Although I love them, shots out to them.
Right.
Hey, Little John heard Big John upstairs dying, and he ran upstairs.
Yeah, he
That's
did.
love. Shots
Mhm.
out to you. But see, you see what I'm saying? As much as I love that, I love this,
Yeah.
the mob, I can kind of take it or leave it. It kind of scatters me a little bit around. Whereas
Mhm.
2018 was this. 2018 was, you like classic Halloween.
Mhm.
This is the one for me that is super rewatchable.
Mhm.
Kills for me, unfortunately, is not, because
Mhm.
I sometimes Tommy is a little bit much for me. But two
Yep.
things can be true. You said it earlier. This is the most Michael we're getting, and
Mhm.
it's true. But it's also the most Haddonfield we're getting.
That's
And
right.
I'll jug. I'll drink all the Michael I can, but I'll sip the Haddonfield. So I'm gonna give it a strong 4 on the it factor.
Okay.
Just a
All
little
right.
less mob for me. A little less mob, more Laurie Strode. Keep the,
Mhm.
the amount of Michael. Perfection.
Okay. All right. Rachel, how about you?
I love Halloween Kills. I think the very first video I ever featured on your channel, Night, I actually talked about how much I have so much fun when I watch this film. It's like I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I do. That being said, I do agree with Kill. The mob scene does bring it down for me. And again, I agree with what you were saying with regards to like 2018. You're just there, you're focused. The movie's all the way through. Whereas in this one, yeah, sometimes it's like, oh, the mob scene and this and that. And I do find that when I rewatch this film, I will fast forward the mob scene. And that to me is a sign that, like, you know, it's not a great scene, or at least it's not working for me. That being said, outside of the mob scene, I love this film. Knight, I agree with you. I think James Jude Courtney in this film is so good. I mean, just the physicality he's bringing to Michael, and almost like, I know that Michael doesn't speak, so it's hard to gauge his emotions, but I feel like you can feel the rage in this one. Like, you know, you can feel that Michael is like, he's pissed, man. The Strode women tried to set him on fire, Haddonfield going for him. He's like, you know, he's definitely got his rage on. And I love that you can feel that, like that kind of fills the whole movie. I agree that this one's very much a vehicle for Michael. And given that Michael is my favorite horror movie villain, I love a movie where he just gets to go off. I've talked before about how much I freaking love the Haddonfield versus Michael at the end, even though, like I've said this before, but the first time I saw it in the cinema, I saw them all coming out and I'm like, oh dudes, every single one of you is about to die tonight. And you know, and Knight and I've talked about this, you know, Michael comes out and he's so focused on that mask, and then as soon as the mask comes on, you know, shit is gonna hit the fan.
That's right.
So I have so much fun when I watch this film. It's just such a fun ride. But yes, it is definitely brought down a bit for me by the mob scene and by some of the, like, I think the film loses focus a bit. So I'm with Kill. Take out that mob scene, give me a little bit more Laurie or a little bit more Michael, maybe some more 78 flashbacks to round out the sheriff a little bit more. So I think I too am going to go with a 4 for the it factor for this one. Definitely a lot of fun, but can't quite go with a 5 just for those small reasons.
All right. Okay. Sounds good. In the chat, we got a couple scores here too that I just saw. Russell with a 5, Melissa with a 5, Pierre with a 5. Jessica saying is wildly boring. Laugh out loud. Okay.
Wow.
It's been giving me crap through that the whole time.
Yeah. Zeducation saying I didn't like it at first, but it grew on me. Okay. And hey, we got Mary in the chat too. Good to have you here, Mary. Million saying it factor is definitely a 5. Okay. Very, very cool. And thank you, Val, for putting the links in the chat. And I want to make sure also to say thank you to Keith coming in with a $2 super chat saying give Rage Shot shit, but she's still the best. Oh, there you go. We know. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate the support and you being here, and it looks like she gave you a heart in the chat. That's cool. Val coming in with her score. It factor definitely a 5. Rewatchability is high. Brutality of the shape keeps you on the edge of your seat, never being sure what was going to happen. Well said, Val. And we're going to put you down officially for your score of a 5. Okay. Scott saying easily a 5. Okay. One of the most fun films in the franchise. Never gets old. Very, very well said. Okay. Also, we got Russell coming in with a channel member anniversary. Russell Dorsey, 9 months. That's hey, actually, both Russells are at 9 months. That's cool.
That's cool.
I like that.
Yeah,
Man. He says hi to everyone. Kills is all 5s. Michael Myers gave no mercy. Very true. No doubt. Thank you so much for the support, bro. Yes. And Keith coming in with another super chat saying a 1.5 dull ass film. Really? He's trolling us, man.
He's trolling us clearly.
And listen,
He is.
I think that's one thing I don't think it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can say a lot of things about this film. It's not dull.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely, well, you know, and that's what some people had an issue with is they said it was a lot of action. My good buddy Grande from Grande's Graveyard, he calls him Michael Wick, you know, because he's fighting and doing all this stuff. And I say, yeah, I guess he is kind of like that, but I enjoyed it. I really, really did. And Val, thank you for putting the link in. If you'd like to become a channel member, hit the join button next to the subscribe button or that link. You can help support the channel and also join us for private streams, hangouts, content, and also some really cool perks that are coming up as well. Some new ones too. All right. Earl also going with a 5. Okay. Very cool. And hey, look at this. Steven, you've got a member anniversary. 21 months, bro.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that's right.
That's awesome, man. Saying almost 2 amazing years. I am the Night Watch. You are, bro. You
That's
are.
right.
That's
It's
awesome.
crazy how fast this time has gone. It's
Yes.
insane.
It
I mean,
is, man.
21 months. That is wow. Doesn't seem
Yeah.
real. It's like there's really it feels like it's been, 6 months maybe, five
Right.
months. It's
Yeah.
it's that's when you know you're at a good place. You're having a good time right
Yeah.
there.
Well, man, thank you so much
Very
for the
welcome.
support and also the
Yeah.
great friendship. It's much
Oh,
appreciated. You know,
amen.
and we talk a lot, on the phone and stuff like that. But seriously, it's
Yep.
appreciated more than I could ever really express to you, man. So thank you.
Oh,
Seriously.
same to you, bro. Seriously. I
Yeah.
feel exactly the same.
Yeah, man. It's awesome
Yep.
stuff. Very cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's see. And yes, you guys definitely giving out congratulations to Steven.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Seriously, we appreciate you. Um, Million saying Keith's been complaining about the movies before they even came out. That's funny.
He's ranking them before they hits theaters.
I know he's predicting where the franchise is gonna go. You gotta love it.
Mm.
All right, let's go to our let's go to our next category. Steven, you'll be starting off this talking point. Let's see
Okay.
what we get. All right. Ooh, oh yeah, baby. Look at what it's going on.
Ah, yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Hey, look. Can I say something? So, as much as we're excited to talk about this for kills, we we had a different type of excitement for Halloween 5, right? So,
Totally opposite on Friday. Oh my gosh.
absolute opposite, man. Um, so look, and for you guys, what was that, Rachel?
Halloween 5, that mask. Oh man. Someone get Michael a comb and a mirror.
Oh,
There he is.
it's
There
something special, man. I'll tell you that.
Hey, look, I
It's
just
called
had
the
to.
Nicolas Cage, okay?
Yes, it's the cage. I love it. I love it. So tonight, I think this conversation is going to go a little bit differently. So, Steven, when we talk about the mask, what do you think about the mask, and
Mm.
what's the score you want to give it?
So for me, it's a tale of two masks for this movie
Mm-hmm.
because we've got the present day Kills mask and we have the flashback Shatnerish, very Shatnerish mask. And
Mm-hmm.
both of them are fantastic, in my opinion. I'll tell you what, as I was mentioning earlier, Christopher Nelson, dude, when that flashback scene came out, I swear, I said,
Mm.
"Oh my gosh, they've got the Shatner mold back. They've done
Yeah.
it." It's like,
Yeah.
here it is, and it is so close, man. It's so close to the original mask, closer than anything I've ever seen in the franchise to that
Mm-hmm.
original ever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so that one is like 10 out of 10, 100%. And I really like the current mask that he made for 18 and Kills. And
Mm-hmm.
I like the burned look. I think it just adds a little extra sauce to Michael Myers for this movie, especially because it's like him on the rampage. And now, what better than to have some of your mask burned to be sure you're just ticked off? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just ready to mutilate people to get to my house. You know, um, so for me, the mask is the best mask in a Halloween sequels that I think in the franchise. Honestly, after you get past Halloween 2, the original 2 with Warlock, and even that one looked a little off, as we know from the
Mm-hmm.
first one, even though it's the same mask. Um, so this to me is very impressive. I love that 78 mask. And, if James Jude Courtney is going to hang up Michael Myers uh, playing that role moving forward, I hope they bring in, and help me out tonight, the guy's name
Aaron
from the flat,
Armstrong.
Aaron Armstrong. I hope they give him a real shot to come back as Myers again. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought he did real well. But anyway, I'm diverging. Sorry. The mask is, I mean, honestly, when you factor in the flashback and the current one, Oh, I got to go 4.5. I can't do 5 because 5 is 78 to me. Is the only one that's a 5 for me. But this is close. So
Okay.
4.5.
Okay. All right. Kill. How about you?
I think with this being the middle movie, the fire adds like that chef's kiss to it. It adds some character. I mean, the one from 2018 and you know, Night, we were blessed to actually talk to James Jude Courtney, and I got to tell this to him in person or, you know, via video. The scene where he finally puts it on, he goes into the trunk, the way the camera has it, you see the hands, you see the veins, you see just the pulling it down, and it's like, that's y'all ass now. It's done. It's done. And to finally, I remember that moment of finally seeing it, like, oh, I want to actually see it on him and see how it looks. And then I'll know if I like this mask in comparison to 78 and the horrific ones we've had, Space Aliens, Nick Cage's,
CGI.
CGI.
Nice.
Although I didn't mind the Rob Zombie, the first Rob Zombie movie one.
That's right.
That one was decent because we had been through peaks and valleys. But this mask is damn near perfection. I mean, it's not the 78 mask, but it is the evolution of the 78 mask. It's aged in 2018, and now it's aged, and it has the fire damage in this one. And the way that James Jude wears it, the way it's shot, it's perfection. I'm going to give it a 5. I'm going to give it a 5 because anytime I could talk about a good mask, I want to give it its flowers, and it's been very rare. It's been up and down, so I want to give it its flowers. 5.
All right. Okay. Hey, real quick, Rachel, before I get to you, gotta love Keith. He says, I don't like them trying to make the mask look too much like 78. Well, they want it to
Like
look
78.
like aged, you know, 40 years later. So listen, Keith, you did not want them to make the mask look like this. Okay.
Can we stop showing Nick Cage?
No.
Not
Long
the
legs
bees.
himself. No, man.
Man.
But I think it. Well, Rachel, I'll let you start off, and then I'll rant. Rachel, what do you think?
Just before I talk about this mask, I need to talk about how much I loved the 2018 mask. Because I'm with Kill. Like that scene, I remember being in the cinema and he opens the trunk up and the slow motion and he puts on it. I'm like practically bouncing out of my seat, going, my man is back. He's got his mask and it looks awesome. And but the other thing was, it made me so angry because I was looking at all the other films and I'm like, it doesn't take that much effort to get a good mask. See, it can be done. Why are we out here making him look like he's been Botoxed or like a deranged witch or like he desperately needs a comb? Look at this dude. So I remember thinking, it's not that hard. And I loved that when they brought it back, you could tell that they were trying to say, this is the same mask that you had, you know, you had the needle mark and you had the hanger mark and you had all of that on it. So with this, I love that they then built on that, you know, like I loved the burnt side, you know, showing that the mask is evolving. I love it. It looked weathered and it looked cracked. And again, James Jude Courtney I mean, for me, no one can beat Nick Castle because so good. But James Jude Courtney, he is a hair's breadth behind Nick when it comes to my favorite Michaels. He is so good. And there's something about the way he wears that mask, because it's not just about putting it on. Like, you have to be able to wear that mask like you are Michael Myers. And James does that, you know, and I really, really love it. And my little here's a little admission that people are probably not going to love, but my favorite mask is actually the 2018 mask. I know the original is a classic and all that, but there's something about the 2018 mask because it's got that wear and tear, because it's got that history, and because you have that beautiful moment of him reuniting with it. So I think this movie is just an extension of that, and the mask just continues to be, you know, a character in and of itself and just a part of Michael. I also agree with what Stephen was saying. I think the 78 flashback mask was so good. So good. Like, again, I was the same. I'll say the same thing again. I literally thought this was this was lost footage, that they just pulled something out of Carpenter's vault, and this is what we got. And yeah, again,
Right.
the gentleman who played him in the flashbacks, I agree, bring him back, because his physicality was amazing and just so good. So for me, this mask being a continuity of the 2018 mask, the way James wears it and the wear and tear and the history they're giving it, definitely a 5. I really, really love this mask.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go with the. What was that?
My sister has written, Rachel needs a mask to mask her lame opinions about this movie. He's not holding anything back.
I guess not. Wow.
Siblings.
All right. So you're gonna go with a 5. Okay.
I'm gonna go with a
So
5.
We're gonna go down. And Val, just to make sure we get her official score, Val's going for mask 4.5, the best mask since the OG. All right. So for me, listen, and I'll try not to rant too much. Kill, you said a lot of great. All of you guys said a lot of great stuff. But this mask, being aged, 40 years, the same mask. First of all, I'm just, again, the attention to detail. It looks so good in this film. The burn looks great on it, gives it character. The way that James wears it, because of course we know that's part of it too. And that's no disrespect to any of the other actors that have played it. Most notably, I know I'm ragging on 5 a little bit. I love Don Shanks, but they should have adjusted the mask to fit his face better. His face, his structure of his face is a lot different, so that makes a difference, just like it did for Dick Warlock in Halloween 281. So again, little details, but the mask, it looks so good, guys. It really does. That scene when he's fighting the world and he just looks down, grabs the mask and puts it on, it's just like it's absolutely a chef's kiss. This is the care is just so amazing. So for Halloween Kills, scoring the mask, I've got to go with a 5. It is so good. I love it. It looks great. It's shot great. That's another aspect of it as well. There's nothing that I would change about it. So I'm going to go with a 5.
And Knight, before we move to the next category, 2 things real quick. This mask, unlike Halloween 5, doesn't have flaps. So the flaps are closed, which is a great thing. I hate the open flaps in the back. And then last thing, this is the only time we hear Michael Myers literally say, "Give it back."
Dude, come
Give
on,
it
man.
back when he sees it, when Karen's holding it. I'm telling you, so that's how special this mask is. He actually asked for her to give it back in a whisper tone.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
All right, man.
Think about
Touche
that.
to you, man. You know, I didn't know you were gonna do it. You found a way to put it in there. All right. So look, thank you guys so much, seriously. And Val, thank you for putting the link in the chat too, reminding folks, if you'd like to become a channel member, hit the join button next to the subscribe button, or click that link if you'd like to help support us and help the channel do more. That's one way that you would do it. Okay. All right. We got Amity in the chat too. All right. I love that. He says, I know it's the same, but with Warlock's face, it totally changed the shape. There you go.
See what you
There
did
you
there.
go. I love that. Russell saying just turned 68 last Monday. Well, hey, happy late birthday,
Hey.
man. That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Glad that you're here too, man, and hope that you enjoyed your day. Hey, man, make it a whole week. There you go. There you go. And Amelia said false. Stop, Craven. Michael never spoke.
Hey,
Oh man, you gotta love
I'm
it.
just telling you what I hear every time in the headphones. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, you're the best, man. All right, so let's head to our next category. Kill, you'll be starting us off on this talking point. Let's see what we get. This will be our 6th category. Ooh. Now this should be an interesting talking point. All right, the directing of Halloween Kills. All right, bro, tell me what you think of this and what's the score you want to give it.
Okay, I'll keep it short and sweet. I mean, for me, it's a continuation of 2018. It's just, it's 2018, but now we've added another character, which is Haddonfield. I said this earlier, and depending on how you look at it, it could be good or bad. But we've got different motivations, different narratives, different stories. We got flashbacks, and it's handled just with such precision, such
Mm-hmm.
care. Everything, it's all the devil is in the details, and this directing team just they know what they wanted. They wanted a mask that looked right. They wanted to be lit right. They wanted a cast that you can feel it. You could feel the family dynamic. You could
Mm-hmm.
buy the James Jude, just amazing physicality. Everything just top notch. I'm gonna give it, and the only reason why I'm not giving it a perfect score is because of all the mob stuff. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna give it a high 4.5. It
Mm.
almost can't get much better with what they did with this one.
Okay. All right. So we got a 4.5 for directing. Rachel, how about you? What do you think?
Don't think this film for me was as tightly directed as 2018. Like when I watched 2018, I think that one is so well constructed and the tone is consistent and everything is really well done. So in this one, we talked about how the cinematography is great. It looks really good, but there are some scenes where I do think the direction takes an odd turn, where sometimes it's almost like the tone of the movie escapes itself. Like there's that really odd cut in the hospital when they reveal that Michael's alive, and then we have that really fast zoom to not Karen, Allison going, and it feels almost like a comedy moment, you know? And then
Mm-hmm.
they also have a little bit outside of like the bar when they think that Michael's in the car and whoever it is that the escape patient, he's putting the music on and he's like, I don't know, he's like driving the car and he's teasing them. And I don't know, to me, that felt a little bit odd. And again, I know Till and I keep bringing this up, but the mob scene, definitely, I do think that was a bit over the top and a little bit too much. Outside of
Mm-hmm.
that, though, I still think this was handled very, very well. Like I say, I think the fight scenes in particular were very good. I think the way Michael's shot is very good. I think the performances are good. I think they've actually got some really good performances out of the actors. Judy Greer, in particular, really steps up this movie, and I think she gives it her all. And they give the chance for a few of the other actors to shine a bit more, like the guy who played Allison's boyfriend, and bringing in the new characters. But yeah, for
Mm-hmm.
me, sometimes there is a little bit of a tonal inconsistency just in some parts, and I think the direction is just not quite as tight as it was in 2018. So I think for me, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I still think it's very good and very dynamic, but just not quite up there, just because of a few little things here and there that don't quite work for me in this film. So 4 out of 5 for me.
Okay. All right. Real quick, too, in the chat, T. Parker was saying, in my opinion, David Gordon Green's direction gets better and better per entry. So he's going with a 4.5. Wow. Okay. Keith saying, think that it's a mess and the direction is part of that. Okay. Million is going with
Okay.
a 4.5. And Paula is going with a 5. Okay. Interesting stuff. A lot of variation. Steven, what do you think?
Excuse me. Yeah, I think it's really high. I'm going to give it for this particular film, Kills. It's like I say, it's one of my top 2 favorite sequels. So I'm going to give it a 4. I think this is his. I mean, 18 was really good. I mean, directing in 18 was really good too. But
Mm-hmm.
this movie, it was just the pace of it. It's so it's more a faster pace. It's more in your face. It's just it's and the way it was. I guess editing some of that too, of course. But I think the directing was fantastic. And remember the cinematography. I mean, a lot of that we praised earlier. All of us given 5s. A lot of that's
Mm-hmm.
from the direction of the director.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "I want it to see this way. I want to film it so we see this." That's, I mean, so to me, he gets he gets a lot of credit for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't go a 5, but I will go 4.5 for directing.
Okay. All right. Okay. We got a 4.5. Okay. For me, I think he did a good job with what he set out to do, continuing the story from
Mm,
2018 and basically following Michael, walking his path and how
yeah.
Haddonfield reacts to it. That's all that this movie is. And,
Hmm.
it's funny because, again, there are some things about the story that, obviously were a few missed opportunities, just, a couple of moments, in my opinion. But ultimately this movie is straight in your face, intense, and it's basically about this killer dealing with this town. That's all that it is. But we also have beautiful moments with these characters, with Karen, with Lori and Frank. And you can say what you want about the mob, but the idea of mobs taking justice into their own hands and so forth, I thought it was done really well. I think it's done better than it was in 4. I think they might have overstepped the line a little bit, maybe gone a couple of minutes longer than they needed to, but I think it's handled better than it was in 4, to be quite honest. David was behind so much of it, like you said, Stephen, also the way that Michael was depicted. So I agree. I thought he did a good job with it. I'm going to go with a 4. I'm going to go with a 4. I think that there was a lot of great choices um, that were made, and I was very happy with the result. It really was.
Mhm.
Okay. And we've got a lot of different scores hanging out in here. Charlie Brown's in the chat. What's up, man? Val coming in with her official score, going with a 4, saying I have to agree with Rachel. There were some parts that were amped up or toned down at the wrong times. Okay. Val, thank you so much for giving us your score. And again, guys, if you'd like to also have your score be official with the final tally on this film, all you have to do is make sure you're with us on the Movie Fanatics level, which is our second tier. You can click the join button next to the subscribe button, and it also helps to support the channel, and you get a lot of great perks. So, Val, we've got you down officially for a 4. Okay. All right. And Charlie Brown going with a 3. A 3 out of 5. Okay. All right. Super Tenor in the house. What's up, man? Saying happy birthday to Russell. Saying I'll be 51 on the 22nd. All right, man. But hey, happy early birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Million saying the mob plot is the main plot. There's no reason to focus on Laurie. Yeah, absolutely. This film is Haddonfield's and Michael's film, and I think once people realize that, I think it kind of gives you an interesting perspective on it. You know what I mean? Especially being the continuation after 2018. So, all right. Okay, let's go to our next category. We're looking for our 7th category, and Rachel, you'll start us off with this talking point. Let's see what we get from the wheel. Ooh, oh boy.
Please, please.
Ooh, wow, man, we're getting the good categories tonight here, man. So we're going to talk about the kills. Rachel, what do you think about the kills, and what's the score you want to give it?
I think you can tell from my reaction. I love the kills in this movie. I mean, it's right there in the title, man. They had to live up to that title. So now I'm
Yeah.
going to talk about, I know people have complaints about Michael being like too actiony or too Jason-like, because he's Michael. He's usually a little bit more toned down. For me, however, with these scenes, like for example, the firefighter scene, for me with Michael, he's always been a precise killer. He doesn't flail around. He knows exactly where to go for the kill. He knows exactly what to do, and that's what he does. And I feel that even in these action scenes, that's what he's still doing. If you watch the fireman scene, he's not coming out and like flying around with like the machete or whatever. He comes out and he's straight into business. He's straight into the fireman's, face. He's straight here. He's there. So even though it's bigger and it looks more actiony, to me, it's still Michael. It's just Michael kind of on steroids. And I actually kind of love being able to see this bigger Michael, this Michael who can take on hordes of people, because you just know that he's going to decimate them all. Like I said, I love Haddonfield versus Michael, because I just think that scene just showing the sheer brutality and almost like inhuman quality that Michael has. And I really love that it is juxtaposed with that voiceover from Laurie talking about how the more he kills, the more power he gains. And I think you really see that with this film. I like that we go back to Michael being a little bit, a little bit perverted, a little bit fun. The scene that Kill was talking about, which is both fun and horrific, where the poor lady is being forced to watch as he, kind of slowly puts the knives
Yeah.
in, just casually doing that. And some of these kills are so brutal, poor Cameron, Allison's boyfriend, who, by the
Yeah.
way, definitely redeemed himself in this movie, but his death, oh my God, the whole time I was like, could we please just kill this poor kid already? Because the amount of pain he must be in right now. And I also
Hmm.
really kind of like that, Michael goes back to being a bit cheeky, like he poses Big John and Little John the way
Right.
their marriage picture was. And it's like, dude, that's kind of perverted. And
Mm.
I just no, I really, really love this film. Like I spent a lot of time like when I saw this with my husband just kind of going, yeah, yeah, come on, Michael, go. And I was just having so much fun. So Killed for me, definitely a 5. I mean, they definitely bring the title in this movie, and I really love what Michael becomes in this movie. So if I could give it any higher, I would. Definitely a 5 for me.
Okay. All right. Steven, how about you?
Yes, kills are 5. I think this one has among the arguably the most brutal. This is the most brutal version of Michael in all 13 films, in my opinion. I mean, I know people try to make a case for the zombie films. I get that, but I'm not a fan of those movies. Didn't really think a whole lot of that there for those, so I don't really look at those much. I'm thinking more of the non-zombie films, but this is the Michael Myers you always wanted to see. Like I think Rachel alluded to, unleashed, kind of just Dr. Wynn's not moving some stones around to control him. I mean, this is this
Good for you, buddy.
I had to do it, man. This this is him unbridled, unleashed, and he's gonna get home, and he's getting angrier and angrier in terms of at least how the kills are getting more intense. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Because
Yeah.
I think Michael's emotions like that are not there for him.
Hmm.
But the kills get just so intense, and that scene with the whole drone. What a
Hmm.
way to set the tone.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. And when he laid that poor man over the counter and he's
Hmm.
just testing out the knives, which one
Yep.
feels better? No, not that one. Let me get another one. And then he gets to that last chef's knife and his signature knife, and then he
Hmm.
leaves. And I know also it was interesting too. He didn't go over there and try to make sure the wife was dead either. See,
Hmm.
his business was done. He went there to get a
Right.
knife.
Yep.
That's all he wanted to do. And
Yeah.
he did it, and all the kills are just, I mean, I won't go on about it, but the fire scene, firefighter scene, of course, all the way to the mob scene at the end. Just take your pick. To me, it's 5, 5, 5, 5s all the way down.
Okay. All right. Kill,
Yeah.
how about you, man?
I just want to bring up just really quick, just 2 quick kills. The drone lady, he grabs the fluorescent light
Yes.
that's
Mhm.
on. It's
Hmm.
super hot. He
Right.
just grabs it, crack, and he doesn't lunge at her. He just he walks into her. Oops,
Right.
sorry,
Hmm.
Hmm.
sorry, my bad. And just sorry, and then walks away and continues shopping for his knife, like
Hmm.
Steven said. And then Big John got his eyes squeezed out of his
Oh.
head
Right.
like he was in Game of Thrones. All right,
Shout out to
like
Pedro Pascal.
shout out to Pedro Pascal. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Look, okay. First off, he takes a knife and stabs Big John here like he's a butcher.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna bleed the cow. He's a butcher. And then he does a Jason Voorhees where he's just like
Yep.
squeezing all of the life out of, and it's messed up because
Hmm.
I do kind of laugh and see Rachel's laughing. Thank you. I feel good. He's screaming. He's like, ah! And you see these 2 grapes just kind of just. But I said this earlier. Little John loves him some Big John, because I'm sorry, he hears that going on upstairs, and he
Yep.
goes upstairs with his lone knife in his hand.
Hmm.
That's it.
My hat is off to you, sir. That is love.
Hmm.
So with just those 2 kills being said, it's a 5.
Okay.
This Michael is not for the games, and I'm here for it.
No,
All
that's
right.
right. And I wonder, Knight, if and Kill and Rachel too. I mean, all of you. I wonder if that the eyeballs popping out was not an homage to Pee Wee's Big Adventure and Large Marge. If
Jeez.
you know,
Large.
you know.
Large Marge.
Large
Okay.
Marge.
That
Yes,
was good call,
that
man. Good call, man.
Emoji.
Um,
yes.
real quick too, I just want to say real quick, in the chat, Charlie was saying, just subscribed. I'm feeling this channel. Well, thank you so much. We
Awesome.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Definitely appreciate it. Thank you for being here. And also, if you get a chance, please, because we've had the links in the chat, make sure you check out Steven's channel, subscribe to him at Craven Something Scary, and also Rachel's channel, Rachel McDonald. We really would love to have these guys be supported, a big part of our community, and great content creators as well. Okay.
Aw, thanks,
Thank you so much.
buddy.
Absolutely. And Val, if you could throw those links in there, that'd be great. We'd love it. Keith is having some fun tonight, man. Saying 2 for the
Oh,
kills, too cartoony, and I've heard that.
Keith.
I've heard that from folks. Like I said, my good buddy Grande was not a big fan of it, and I can understand that. I can understand that. But here's my thing about the kills. I think this movie delivered on what it said it was going to do. It said it was Halloween Kills, and that's what Michael did. But you guys made a great point, Stephen and Kill also. Michael just did what he did. And some people do look towards Rob Zombie's Halloween as a scarier Michael, or the kills were more brutal. But here's where I differentiate the two. Tyler Mane showed emotion and anger in those kills, grunting, moving,
Yep.
breathing heavy. And he's a man. He's acting like a man that's pissed off, and he's 6'8", so he should be able to kill everyone. Okay. Because if you can't, then you've done something wrong. But here's the thing about the kills and Halloween Kills, and really the whole trilogy. James Hugh Courtney is the size of, an average man, 6'1", whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when he kills, there's no emotion. There's nothing.
No.
There's nothing. There's not even really effort. Like you said, Kill. When he takes the bulb and kills the older lady, he just pushes it. Boom, it's done. Like it's done in a way, the physicality, where it is truly creepy because you don't see what's going on. I mean, in this trilogy, he's killing older people. He killed a young teenage boy. I mean, nobody was off the kill list. You get what I'm saying? And so it just made this Michael stand out and be different. But the other thing too, and I know people, like my good buddy calls him Michael Wick. Keith's not a fan of the kills, but you guys got to remember something. And I think Million said it in the chat, and I want to go further. This is Michael 40 years later. He's been incarcerated for 40 years. And I've talked about this in multiple videos. Please check them out on my Halloween playlist. Think about that. You got 40 years of being dormant. And to me, when he's unleashed, this is kind of like that swan song, that last adrenaline rush. And it shows in just how he just creates this path of destruction. There's a brutality to that. But not only that, but this is a film where he's fighting multiple people. You rarely don't see that. And what I mean by that is multiple people that are ready for him. Yes, in Curse of Michael Myers, he kills everyone in the hospital room. They weren't ready for that life. They didn't know what was going to happen. They were controlling him. Michael was a heavy for the mafia. Okay. And in this film, people are ready for Michael, and he handles them in just sorts. So I think that it was done in a really interesting way to show people being aware of Michael and wanting to do something about it, rather than everyone's just a victim and like, oh crap, he's coming to kill me. Oh, boom, I'm dead. No, there was a little bit more being shown. So Michael has to be shown differently. Plus he's 40 years older. So anyways, I say all that to say my ideas and thoughts on how it was presented, and I have to give it a 5. There's no doubt at all. It was just fantastic stuff. Some of the best kills in the franchise. And I just think James Drew Courtney, he's just awesome. He's so awesome. Yeah. He really is. And like you said, Kill, we had the pleasure to be able to talk to him for our interview for a whole hour. And it was just amazing just listening to him talk about his mindset. It was just so cool to see that he was thinking so deeply about Michael Myers, because I think the mythology for Michael is so amazing. So, anyways, I'm going with a 5. Okay, let's jump to the chat. We're at 9:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so we're starting to wrap this up a little bit. But I want to make sure I get Val's score in here. I don't know, Val, if you already put your score in. If you guys see it, that would be great to let me know, because I want to make sure that I keep her score in there. Val, if you could put that in again, that would be great, because I'm way behind in the chat. Okay, all right. Oh,
Went with
we
a
got a 5.
She said kills
Yep.
5. Yep. Firefighter scene, mob kills, the park kills, even the elderly couple, just brutal.
All right. So we've got you down officially, Val. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go to our next category. And I actually will start off the talking point for this. Let's see what we get. Okay. All right. So we've got a talking point. So this will not be scored. We're just going to go through this real quick. Worst
Yep.
scene to me easily is the hospital scene. I think it just went on too long. I didn't have an issue with what they were doing, but I feel as though it could have been cut by at least 5 minutes. And if they had done that, I think that it would have worked better. You know, I think it just was a little bit too much overkill, no pun intended. So to me, the mob scene, the hospital scene was the worst scene. How about you, Steven?
Yep, I'll keep it same. It's the hospital scene. Again, I agree with you, Knight. Cut off 5 minutes of that. It's not really. I don't think many people will be talking a whole lot about it, and it just went on too long. That's all. She was just, editing choice to keep it in there. Should have cut it back, but that's it. After that, I mean, to me, if that's the worst scene in a movie, that's pretty darn good for an almost 2-hour movie. So yeah, for me, it's the hospital scene. Yep.
Okay, Kill, how about you?
I'm right there with you guys. Hospital mob scene. I get the sentiment. I get what they're trying to build, but it went a little too long for me. And I voiced it earlier. The mob stuff, I could kind of take it and leave it. So yeah.
Okay, all right, Rachel, how about you?
I'll make it unanimous. The mob scene, I mean, for everything that you guys have said. And again, I do understand what they were trying to do. And like I said, especially since my sister and I have been rewatching the original ones and some of the original sequels, you can see that they have actually tried to do this storyline before. As you guys have said, I think it went on for too long. I think the editing was really bad. But another thing I want to say is I think that in this one, the decoy Michael Myers is a bad decoy. Like in the other ones, when they've killed other people, these have been people that have either been deliberately dressing like Michael, like in number 4, you've got the kids out on the street, or in number 2, the Tramer kid looks very much like Michael, but this guy looks like Danny DeVito, and it's like, how do you mistake this guy for like big hulking Michael Myers? And I know that maybe they're trying to make a commentary on like once mob mentality gets going, like all sense goes out the window, but for me, it just kind of made the residents look a little bit dumber, and I couldn't quite buy that they would believe that like this other little dude was Michael Myers. Like I think maybe they should have had another patient that maybe physically looked at least a little bit like more like Michael, and I maybe would have bought into it. I also think that once the guy goes out the window, the way they show his splattered body on the ground, it felt very gratuitous for the type of scene that it was. You know, given that this was a guy who's jumped to get away from a mob, it's almost a suicide. It's a very like more morose like death, and then we see his body splattered out like it's another fun slasher kill, like that. For me, that just didn't work. So yeah, for all those reasons and everything that you guys have said, we'll be unanimous on this. Definitely the hospital scene is the worst one.
Okay, all right, so let's go to our next category. We're looking for category number 8. I'll start us off on it. Let's see what we get. Ooh. Oh man, I was wondering if it was going to hit.
Oh,
I know.
It was so close, man.
So close.
Characters I think was interesting because again, I think Karen was fantastic. I truly couldn't believe how on board I got with her character, and I think it was really cool to show that arc between 2 films. Judy Greer was amazing. I really loved her. You said this earlier too, Kill. I enjoyed seeing Lonnie. And I really love that actor. I forgot his name, but he's been in so many cool things. A big collaborator with Mike Flanagan as well. He's awesome. I really enjoyed seeing moments with him as well. Lori and Frank, they were great. Will Patton, you guys know, I absolutely love him. Their scenes were so adorable and touching. And again, it's giving us some different angles to this film, which they needed, because again, we're following Michael so much, and the town dealing with this evil and being infected by this evil. Allison was really good in this film too. I don't know if I would say I enjoyed her better than 2018, because she had her story was a little bit more focused in 2018 as it needed to be. But I did enjoy quite a few scenes that she had, and her standoff with Michael, and obviously seeing what happened to Cameron. Cameron also was redeemed. Rachel, you mentioned that. I won't go too far into all of that, but I say all that to say there were some fun character moments in the film, and I would go with overall, I would say a 4. I'm going to go a 4 with characters. All right, Steven, how about you?
Yeah, man, for the sake of time, I'm going to go fast too. I'm going to go 4 for characters. Most of what you just said as well. I love the arc for Karen and Cameron both. And I agree. I'm one that actually was not some people seem to be annoyed by Anthony Michael Hall as Tommy. I didn't. I thought it was really cool that we had Lonnie and Tommy, and we had Lindsay,
Yep.
and then we had Nurse
Marion.
Marion. I thought that was really cool that they were there. And so I thought, as far as characters go, they did a really good job with having characters that I liked, and I cared about for the most part. I really did. And so yeah, it's a 4.0 for me. Could have gone 4.5 even, but I'll go 4.
Okay, all right. Kill, how about you?
They did a great job of fleshing out the characters more and making you care about them, especially like the sheriff, a lot of his backstory, Karen, Lonnie, Tommy, the nurse, everyone. And that led to greater stakes when, they were in Pearl. You actually cared more because, I know more about this person and their journey. And the boyfriend, could have gave 2 craps about him in the last movie in 2018, but this one I actually cared. So I'm gonna give it a 4. I think they did a great job at making you know more about the characters and making you actually care.
Okay, all right. So we got a 4 officially from you, Killian. Rachel, how about you?
Agree with what everyone's been saying. Great characters in this. I actually do really love that they brought back at least the character of Tommy. I thought Anthony Michael Hall was fun. He's chewing the scenery and having a good time, so I was having fun with that. Lindsay as well coming back, so good. Agreed that Karen, we've all talked about this. Karen gets so much great characterization in this movie, and I've talked about how I also really liked Allison. Also, Allison's cheating, gaslighting boyfriend finally steps up in this one, so I really love that. And won't go too long, but I got to give a little shout out to my 2 new favorite characters from this movie, and that is Big John and Little John. God bless them. I am so bummed that they died, because those dudes they were having the best night ever. Okay, they had their joints, they had their music, they had their charcuterie board. They were having the time of their lives. So I'm going to go with a 4 as well. I think the characters in this one are really, really fun.
Okay, all right. And Val is saying for characters, she's going to go with a 4 as well. I was still invested in the carryover characters. I like the add-on characters. All right, very cool. So we will put you down for a 4. T. Parker is going with a 4. Super Tenor is going with a 4. Million is saying characters is a 4.5 for me. All right. Okay. And he's saying people got to let characters evolve within their arc. You're also not supposed to like every character. Very, very true. Very, very true. All right. And we got Elm Street in the chat. What's up, man? Saying characters of 4. Okay, so we got you down for 4. And Elm Street, thank you so much, man, for your upgrade. I was saying that earlier. I don't know if you were in the chat, but we really appreciate you being part of the Movie Fanatics. And again, tonight, Movie Fanatics level and above, we're actually going to take your score and add it to the total tonight. So thank you so much for the support. It really helps us out and makes a big difference. And couldn't thank you enough, man. Awesome to have you here. Very cool. And we got our good buddy Ben coming in with a $20 super chat. What's up, brother? Thank you so much. Saying, hey, Night Fam. Better late than never. I'm here. I was just finishing revisiting The Room, and I'm about to revisit Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. That's a good movie, man.
Yep.
So underrated. Yes, that is a good
That's
one,
good.
man. Yeah, it's a good one. Ben's always watching some cool stuff, man. You gotta love it. Thank you so much for the super chat as well, man. We really appreciate the support. It means a lot to us, man. And so let's do a clip for Ben. This is one of my favorite ones, man. It's just out there, and you gotta love it. Here we go.
Where are you from, stranger?
Nowhere nice.
Yes, Bo.
Shut your hole!
Feels so good in my hood tonight.
Wow.
There it is.
Yeah.
It gets me every shut your hole every
I love it, man.
time.
Oh man, thank you so much, Ben. We love you, bro.
Frog Town.
And Elm Street,
Oh.
you're welcome, man. You're welcome, bro. L. Buckner in the chat. Good to have you here, man. Saying, is Season of the Witch in this debate? We will be talking about Season of the Witch. That is one of the ones we have left. We've done this whole series. We've got a playlist for all the streams, and this is how we're going to ultimately rank the Halloween franchise based upon the scores that we've given each film through these 10 categories. So if you get a chance, check out the playlist. Val, I don't know if you could put the playlist in the chat, but we're just over half through the franchise. So yeah, it's really, really cool. And I think I'm almost caught up here. Ronan saying, love y'all so much. I'm gonna watch me some Friday 13th Part 4. There you go. That's a good
Nice.
one. It is a good one, man. One of my
It
favorites.
is.
Yes. And absolutely, man. Roddy Piper, a legend. If you know, you know. Much love, Ben. Much love, man. Seriously, thank you so much. Okay. All right, let's go to our next category and see what we get. Steven, you'll be starting us off for this one.
Okay.
Let's see what we get. Oh, yeah, baby. Yes.
Oh.
Woo-hoo.
Oh boy.
Boy, this has been a night. The wheel's random too, man. So we're talking about mythology. And when we talk about mythology, we're talking about how the character is handled, what we see from Michael Myers and obviously the people around him. But, Steven, you know this through the franchise, we've seen different depictions of Michael, and some work well and some may not so much. So what do you think of the mythology in Halloween Kills, and what's the score you want to give it?
Yeah, to me, it's very high in this one. They really, what I liked about the whole, for the most part, the whole trilogy, connecting back to the first movie, is that mythology stayed pretty consistent. Like, it really does. It doesn't one tries to explain them like, zombie. We don't get the Thorn cult explanation. We don't know what all is going on there inside of him.
Right.
But as Laurie says at the end of the movie, we know he's not a mere mortal man, because no man could survive the injuries, his wounds, and still be alive. So
Right.
but she also at the same time doesn't get into trying to just say what it is, other than, as he kills, he transcends and basically feeds off of the killing, which we see in ends as well. So, so I think the mythology is pretty high, for me. In this one, I think they did a good job of preserving the mystery, the unknown, I should say, more than mystery, but I guess mystery works. The mystery of what is really going on in Michael. And so I'm going to give the mythology a 4 in this one.
Okay. All right. Kill, how about you, man?
I think the one thing that this trilogy has done is fleshed out the mythology expertively. And what I mean by that is sort of like what Steven just said. They didn't go Cult of Thorn or Silver Shamrock or any of that stuff. Essentially, you have a man that is evil, and he can infect the entire town, and he's not your normal man. When in 2018, when they pulled that trap on him, he's just standing there in the fire. He doesn't make any like, oh crap, let me get out of here. This
Who
is the
can
worst
do
case of,
that?
this is like the
Exactly.
worst case of Home Alone ever. Like, you know, like they trapped me. He's just standing there just looking like this.
Yeah.
Just Mr. Happy. And then, you know, for this movie, it begins, you know, let it burn. It's burning. And he's just like, hey, oh, you're lending me a hand. Okay, I'll take your hand, pull you down in it. And I'm back. So they touch on the mythology just through the way that they portray him in the kills, in his mannerisms, in his, I'm just going to stand here in the fire. And if I die, I die. If I don't, I don't. Oh, I didn't die, so I'm not meant to die. That's my mythology. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. It's just amazing. So for the mythology, I would give it a 4.5.
Okay. All right. Rachel, how about you?
What both Kills and Stephen have said. I think the mythology surrounding Michael, the fact that, yeah, we didn't go for the secret sister or the creepy cult or anything like that. I really like that. I also really liked in the flashbacks the way they would talk about Michael, you know, someone that you talked about, like, I knew this kid. He actually used to come around to my house because, you know, we forget that. But at one point, before he killed his sister, he was just a normal resident, and Haddonfield is, from what I gather, a small town. So, yeah, there would be people who would remember him. And I really, really liked that because I thought that added to his character without giving us too much. You know, it was just like he even baffles the people in the town. I also really like the way Michael's reach extends past Laurie in this movie. You know, like he's really, the boogeyman has come to Haddonfield. And I remember when I first watched this film, that scene in the club where Lonnie's doing like the story. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, this is weird. What's going on in this scene? Why is he just like spouting out everyone's background and like pointing people out? But the more I watched the movie, the more I realized, no, this scene is to show us that Michael's become the boogeyman in Haddonfield, but there are people in Haddonfield outside of Laurie who have survived him, who know who he is. And I really do like the boogeyman has come to town, you know, so I really like that we see that stretch out. I also do think that there is some fun stuff laid down in this movie, which unfortunately doesn't get picked up in the later movie. Like I really like the whole Michael's trying to go home angle. And even if you take it literally or don't take it literally, I really love Laurie's musings on he's getting stronger as he kills. And I remember thinking that in the third one, it was really going to come down to a Laurie doing it. I have to take you with me. Like we both have to die because we are both so connected. So I remember thinking that's where it was going to go. And for what they laid down in this film, I thought that was really, really fun. So I'll go with a 4 after the mythology. And it loses that point just because it unfortunately wasn't followed through in the next movie. And that does, I think, that is a bit of a pity because I think they were laying the groundwork for some really fun stuff that for whatever reason, whether it was the pandemic or they just changed their minds or whatever, it didn't come through in Halloween Ends. But I do think the mythology in this one is really fun. And I think they have a lot of fun, like expanding it without making Michael less mysterious. He still remains the shape, the boogeyman. We don't know what's coming next. And I really love that. So 4 out of 5 for me.
Okay. And I want to go off on that part too. I think that was the big thing is with this mythology, they were able to talk about Michael, but not give away what makes him so amazing, that mystery, you know what I'm saying? And following off of 78 into 2018 and now in Kills, I think that they were on the right track. They didn't try to over-explain what he was doing and what he was. And I think that's so integral to his character. That's what makes him stand out as an icon, a horror villain. All of the things that were going on and showing the 78 flashback and all of those things, nothing to me took the mythology off its track. And I really appreciated that. I think it was fantastic what they were able to do. I'm going to go with a 4 as well for the mythology. I think they made so many great choices, and I think that it was fantastic, man. It really was. Real quick too, we got Keith saying he's giving it a 1. The mythology a 1.
Oh, Keith.
Wow.
Wants to stir the pot tonight.
I know. You know, listen, here's the thing though. It's basically a continuation of 78. So if you're not a
Right.
fan of 78, then okay, I guess I can understand that. But they really kept everything linked to 78. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it was great. I really think it was great. So all
Yeah.
right. Elm Street, we're getting his official score. He's going with a 5. All right. Saying 5 for Mythology. Gotcha. Okay. And we got Ronan saying Captain Rachel speaks the truth. There you go. There you go, man. Thank you so much, bro. And let's see. Val's going with Mythology. Rachel is pretty spot on. I love that the shape was on this mission to get home. I give it a 4. Okay, so Val, we're going to put you down officially for a 4 as well. Very cool. All right. Let's go to our next category. This will be we're spinning for our 10th and final category. And let's see what we get. Kill, you'll be starting off this discussion. Interesting to see what it goes on. Ooh,
I have
ooh.
one I'm rooting for.
Oh man, it's too bad it didn't land on Michael. Wow.
Man.
Dang. Atmosphere. You know what? I'll tell you what, man. It would have been so. It would just would have been ironic to land on Michael, because I think it's landed on Michael on most streams. But Kill,
Yep.
let's talk about the atmosphere of the film. What do you think? And what's the score you want to give it?
For me, once again with this film, it feels like such a continuation from 2018. The atmosphere is there. If anything, is turned up a notch because of the role that Haddonfield as a town plays. But it's definitely there, and it's palpable. And as the movie goes on, it just kind of grows and grows as the mob and the fear and the bloodlust grows and grows. And then of course, just the backdrop of it being Haddonfield, small town, et cetera, and then all of this despair that just keeps unfortunately happening with Michael Myers in this town. So for atmosphere, I want to give it a 4. I feel that it's there, and all of the drippings, the music, the tones, the way the town looks, and then of course the people, the inhabitants of Haddonfield. So
Okay, all right. Rachel, how about you?
I love the atmosphere of this film. I agree with Kill. Like it's like it just builds. It's relentless. Like in 2018, you start out in a nice kind of Halloweeny, things are chill, everything's all right. The kids are going to the dance, kids are going trick or treating. But in this one, we know that Michael's back. The town knows that Michael's back. Laurie knows that he's back, and like just that, like you said, palpable. You go into this film already feeling so intense. And I just think the way they frame Michael in this movie is so good, and it just adds so much atmosphere. Like a scene that always sticks in my mind is one of the 78 flashbacks. It's that scene where you come out the front of the Myers house and you see that long tracking shot of all the policemen with all of their guns trained on Michael, and he's just standing there. And I remember just feeling that scene so much, like, oh my God, yes, this is what it would take to bring him down. This is what, like, it was just such an impactful scene. And then, yeah, the park scene, where Lindsay is trying to, tell the kids to get out of the park, and, Michael's stalking them there. And then, of course, the final scene. And I just think that there is this feeling of just dread that hangs over this movie, like the boogeyman is really here. Like he is infecting the town. His presence is just spreading out. So I think I'll go, it can't quite match, the original and even 2018 for me, because they are just so perfect. So I'll go with 4.5 for this one, because I really love that dread, palpable, intense atmosphere that this one does bring. And it never lets up. It never lets up, right to the final, shot of Karen being taken out. You're just constantly on the edge of your seat. So 4.5 for me.
Okay, all right. Steven, how about you? Oh,
Sorry, here we go.
Yep, that's okay.
Nothing like talking on mute. It's either a 4 or 4.5. I got to make a call. I think I'm going to probably say a 4, but it was really great. And like Rachel said too, it's like when the killer tiger, this is crazy, it's off the top of my head, like a killer tiger who's in a cage, and you're
Mm-hmm.
not really scared. You know it's there. You know where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
This to me felt like what it would feel like if you walk to the cage and you see it's out and you
Mm-hmm.
don't know where it is, and it could be around any corner. And
Mm.
that's the feeling that I got watching it. It's like I felt it as a viewer, like this is what they're feeling. Like
Right.
everyone's everyone's nerves are like through the roof, and to the point where they're seeing things. And so I think it's four. I could do 4.5, but I'll do 4 for now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we got you down for 4. Val saying she's going to go with the 4.5. Really made you feel like you were in Haddonfield. You could feel the tension right off the bat. Well said. And we're going to put you down for 4.5, Val. Thank you so much. Troy's in the chat. What's going on? Going with a 2.5. Brian's going with a 4. My opinion on this, and to give my score, I think that they did a hell of a job with the atmosphere. Again, we're following Michael. Okay, that's what the movie is. So we can just go by what we're shown in this film, the atmosphere surrounding him and the town dealing with him. And from that perspective, and Stephen, you just said it, I felt the fear and the tension and the confusion and the paranoia and the anger that town has. They're fed up with this shit, this boogeyman situation. And I think it was really well done. The atmosphere, obviously, with the recreation scene, the atmosphere with the Little John, Big John scene, like it really felt like it was Halloween time. It felt like it was a town on the edge of just falling off the cliff. That were totally infected, possibly turn
Yeah.
and did at the hospital turning on himself and so forth. So I think the atmosphere is 4.5 for me because
Mm-hmm.
there was just so much going on that they were giving you. This film felt very rich with atmosphere, if that's a word I could use. And as much as I
Yeah.
love this franchise, there are several sequels that I think don't match the
Mm-hmm.
level of atmosphere, and part of that could be, budget or the time period or what have you. But this film gave you all the atmosphere, almost all that you could handle. So I'm going to go with a 4.5.
Yeah, man.
Okay. All right. And let's see, Elm Street coming in with his official score. We're putting his official score down to Can't Deny the Atmosphere, 4.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Very, very cool. Thank you so much for that. We got you down officially. And yeah, Millions going with 4.5 as well. Russell going with 5. And Keith, the film fell off a cliff. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Well,
You got to have Keith on one of these panels at some point. Pick one that he really hates. Have him on for Halloween Ends.
yeah, there
He'll
you
love that
go.
one.
That would almost be the way to go. But again, and there's a lot in this film that I understand some folks, they may not be big on, but I think when you add it all together and you're talking about a franchise that's been around for almost 50 years when this film came out, 45 years, but to be able to do what they did if as effectively as they did and the little details and the hard work that went into it. The one thing I think that anyone could agree on, and that's you too, Keith, is they put a lot of hard work into this, and that's been documented. That's fact. That's reality. And when you see pink mask, blonde mask, CGI mask, Nicolas Cage mask, and all these different things, it just shows you that they wanted to really put something special together. It didn't work for everyone, but I do appreciate the hard work and the dedication they put towards it. So, anyways, guys,
Yep.
those
That's right.
are our 10 categories. We talked about, we scored story, final girl, cinematography, the it factor, the mask, the directing, the kills, the characters, the mythology, and finally the atmosphere. So, those are the categories that we graded it. We will have a total once I put all the numbers together. And again, this is how we're eventually going to rank the whole franchise based on categories and also as a community, people on the panel and also our channel members at the second tier and higher. So once we have this ranking, it truly is, in my opinion, I think this will, and said this to you before too, Steve and Kill, I think this is going to be a very real look at the franchise and the ranking. So I'm really excited to see what that's going to be
Yeah.
when we reveal it.
So excited, dude,
The
for that.
results will be, they'll be
So
fantastic.
good.
And
I know.
some of the the ones that I've watched have been quite surprising. So I think it will be really
Yes.
interesting to see where all the movies
Mhm.
land.
Yep.
This stream was so much fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Love that you guys love this film as much as because I specifically asked to be on this panel because I wanted to show this film some love because I feel that it does
Yeah.
get a lot of hate, and like
Yeah.
Nighthead, I get that it's got some stuff that maybe didn't work for everyone, but for me, no lying, this film is so much fun. It's so much
Yeah.
fun.
That's
Yeah.
I
right.
have a great time every time I watch it.
I mean,
Yeah. I agree.
if our schedules allow, and I know they don't, I'd say we do a watch party of the extended cut right after this stream. That's how much I love this movie. I'm like,
I
let's
wish I
go.
could.
I know, me too.
I wish. But I
That's
mean,
right.
there are some huge surprises so far, and I'm not going to reveal that until.
Mhm.
Although I will say, channel members, we have talked on the community tab, so definitely keep eyes on that. And I did reveal one of the scores, so for you guys that are channel members, there are some things I want to be able to show you guys, beforehand, first look and stuff like that. But yeah, there is one score that was revealed, one movie that its total score is revealed, and it's surprising. It's very surprising. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with how this franchise is going to be ranked. So, all right.
Mhm.
Well, for you guys in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. We have a lot of new faces. We hope that you guys come back with us. And if you're not subscribed to the Night Watch Zone, if you're not subscribed to Steven's channel or to Rachel's, please make sure you guys do that. We really appreciate it. We're having a lot of fun with this series, and we still got a lot more to go.
Oh yeah.
Thank you to everyone. Ronan, thank you so much, man. Much love to you as well. Scott, all of you guys, saying really digging this series. Good night. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And that's why we're doing it, because everyone seems to be having fun with it. We're having fun on the panels.
Yeah.
So, like I've always said, if you guys are enjoying it, we're going to do it. And so that's just how it is. So, anyways, we will catch you guys next time. Hit the like button if you haven't already. And as always, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.
Silver Shamrock.